Hi, I'm Eden Hart, and I'm at the site here in Compton, California at Henry Gardens. It's a great place, and they do some amazing things here. They're growing all kinds of fruits and vegetables, and our lesson today will have something to do with one of the most components to doing gardening at all, and it's called composting. What I've given everybody is a composition book, and in your composition book, you should have the following questions in it. We're going to take Cornell notes. You title it Composting. On the right side are your questions. What is composting? Why should I compost? What should I compost? How much time does it take? Will the pile smell bad? How does composting work? How do I use compost? Left side, you title it Composting, and you have the space on the side in order for you to take notes. On the bottom, you're going to give a summary. Now, before we get started, I have to give you the rules of engagement. We're going to do what's called CHAMPS, C-H-A-M-P-S. The first thing I want you to be careful of is, because we are on private property, is be careful of our conversations. Make sure that your conversations are only about the garden, please. H stands for help. If you have any questions to ask me, send one person from your team, you should be in teams of 4, to come to me to ask your question. I'll answer it and you can return to your group. It's more efficient and goes faster that way. A, your activity. You're going to be observing 3 compost piles in different stages of decomposition. You're going to be able to turn over some soil and really take a look at what makes up compost. M, your materials. The materials you should have should be your composition book, a pencil, a pen, and your 2 eyes, because you're going to be observing these and I need you to write certain things down. Participation. I'm going to be observing each group and expecting everybody to be asking questions, writing down good notes, making your observations. S, if you follow all the procedures, then of course you're going to be successful. All right, let's get started. Okay, so why do we need to compost? Well, it's going to save you money in different ways. It's going to save you on your garbage bill. You probably spend so much money per month just for the disposal of your kitchen waste. In some places, they charge you by the bag to get rid of your kitchen waste. Why spend all that money when you can use it in your garden to make your lawn better? And if you're interested in growing vegetables, it's going to make your vegetables grow bigger, better, full of nutrients. Another way it saves you money is you don't have to go to the stores often to get your food. Why not grow it yourself? You'll know what's in it. You won't have any use for buying any fertilizer or anything like that. And fertilizer costs too. You're going to be able to eat healthier. That's going to reduce your food bill. Also, it's just the right thing to do. It's good for the environment. It doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of space. Most cities have a landfill, and they spend a lot of time and a lot of money. And it gets expensive when you pile piles and piles and piles of garbage into a landfill. And it's going to take years for it to break down. So why not cut down on your food bill, cut down on your disposal fees, do something that's convenient, because it's not going to take a whole lot of time, to just compost. Well, what I've got laid out here is green and brown material. We've got the garden waste here. That's collard greens from the tree. We've got kitchen scraps. We've got eggshells, potatoes. You see bread here. More green material are coffee grounds. Tea bags work also. Okay, and the green is what provides the nitrogen. The nitrogen provides the heat for the compost pile. Now, for the brown matter, we've got dried leaves. We've got newspaper. These items provide the carbon. They're the dry items. Okay? And if you combine these just right, you come up with a great beneficial humus that helps out these plants. I'm going to have you take a look at the lettuce that they're growing here. And they grow huge, they grow healthy, they have all the minerals, they also have all the nutrients in the plant. They're good and healthy. And as we eat those, we also get nutrients and minerals. So what I'll do next is we're going to follow the path and walk around over to our first compost pile and talk about it. Okay, in regards to the compost pile, there's a question, will the compost pile smell bad? No, it won't smell bad. Reason being is you're going to have enough oxygen that throws through the pockets of the compost and enough moisture and enough heat. When all of that comes together, it's called aerobic decomposition, and there'll be no smell. If anything, it'll have a fresh smell. It'll smell like dirt. Won't be any odor at all. In a situation where there would be odor, it's only because you don't have the right items in your compost pile. What you don't want to put in your compost pile are any meat products, any milk products. You don't want fish. You don't want fish bones, animal bones. You don't want pet waste, dog and cat waste in it at all. So as long as you keep those items out of your compost pile and make sure that you turn it regularly and have enough green matter and brown matter, you shouldn't have any problems. You can keep the pile covered, you can keep the pile uncovered, and as it breaks down, you can actually watch the process for yourself. It's best to keep it covered while it breaks down, but make sure that you uncover it, turn it regularly. That way you'll aerate the soil, meaning that you'll get lots of air inside of it. You shouldn't have any problem with any odor. Very carefully follow the path. And we need to stay on the path. And while we're on our way to the compost pile, let me just feature some of the things that they grow here. Plumeria plants, bok choy in the barrel. Here's another example of a healthy plant. They just started this lettuce, say a couple of weeks ago. So look how healthy they are. They also grow mint. So mint is in this barrel. They just started an apple tree. So take a look how healthy those little apples are. They'll be ready before long. Okay? Swiss chard in the barrel. And I believe that's more lettuce. Okay, more walking on the path. And they have greens here. Also beans, more Swiss chard, also lemon tree. Okay, so here we are in our first pile. Okay, if you take a look at it, you've got grass clippings on top, you've got your brown matter, which looks like dried leaves on the bottom. This has been going for about 3 months. So in about 3 more months, it'll be fully matured. If you take a look at the back, that's compost that's almost ready to go. It's not quite ready. Okay, that's our first one. Okay, let me take you along the path again. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk over to our other compost pile. We've got a compost pile that's brand new. If you take a look at that largest compost pile, this one's brand new. So this one's going to take about 6 months before it's ready. We turned over some of the compost on the side here so you could see what it looks like. Okay, we've got good moisture. You should be able to see some dark spots in it. So it's breaking down. Let me take a moment and take you around the other side of it. Okay. How do you compost? Well, All this decaying matter, this brown matter and green matter, is taken over by fungus. And what that fungus does, it spreads out like a spider web. And it begins to break down the soil. Also, in a compost pile, you may notice a lot of heat coming through it. And that's the nitrogen heating things up. Now, once it cools down, if you check out your compost pile, you'll notice that you have lots of other helpers that come through. You'll have earthworms. You'll also have sow bugs and other bugs. It's the earthworm that does most of the help, though. Earthworms don't have any teeth. Here are your earthworms. They don't have any teeth, but what they do is they'll take some soil and take it in their mouth and actually bust open that soil inside their esophagus. And they eat that fungus. And as it passes through their body, a mucus is also attached to their waste. So you've got bacteria and also protozoa that come through their waste. As the compost pile cools down, you'll probably will notice some other little creatures that pop up. You'll see, let's see if I can get some focus on it for you. Sow bugs, beetles, and other insects that come. And actually they come to eat each other. So your earthworm doesn't eat what's on the food, it eats what's in the food. Everything after your worm eats everything else. That's basically how it breaks down. And on this one, I think I already told you this will take about 6 months to break down before it's mature. So let's go and walk over to see our more mature pile. All right, this pile has been composting for about 5 months. It's almost ready. It's going through its last stages of composition. You take a look at it, it's dark, crumbly. That's exactly what we want. And that's going to make good use of this compost and become excellent humus. Okay, what I'll do is walk you over to the compost collection area. Let's take a moment and do that. And let's see. You notice they grow a lot of things in barrels here. Just any container, they'll grow something in it. I believe this is a plum tree. I like plums, so I can't wait for this one to get ready. They have a magnificent lemon tree here. Okay. Here we are at the compost collection bins. If you take a look at it, it's nice and dark, crumbly, has absolutely no odor. This is full of minerals. This is full of nutrients. That's so good for the soil, so good for the plants, and so good for us. So how do you use compost? Well, what we have here is some lovely prepared compost here. Let me go ahead and show you with our hand rake. It's dark, it's crumbly, it has absolutely no smell to it. So, in order to use this compost, it's pretty simple. Depending on your container, you could take a shovel You can take a handful, you could take a trowel like I have here. And when you're planting, like this young plant here, all you want to do is add it to your soil. This compost basically takes care of your fertilizer. You don't need any other, you don't need any pesticides. Just add this, water, make sure your plant has sunlight, check on it regularly, and you're good to go. You can add compost to any container that has a plant in it. Right here we've got lettuce and Swiss chard, and they're growing in what used to be a desk drawer. You can grow your healthy plants in barrels. You can grow healthy plants in just a 3x3 space. This is lettuce we've been growing for most of the winter. Okay? And another item that they're growing here using the compost is corn. So those are the uses for compost. Oh, I forgot to mention, as far as your lawn, if you want nice green grass and you don't want to have to worry about fertilizer, go ahead and use your compost. You already have the materials there, and that's your lawn clippings. Composting is a good thing all the way around. It's environmentally friendly. You're using items that you already have. It's going to cut down on the money that you spend having things thrown out in the garbage. Also, compost gives you nutrient-rich soil that's great for your flowers, your shrubs, your plants, and also for these green-growing plants here, also fruits and vegetables, which will cut down on the cost of buying food for yourself and your family. So it's a good thing all the way around. Okay, so let's summarize what we learned today. We now know that composting is the process in which organic matter is broken down and turned into that rich black soil called humus, H-U-M-U-S. We also know that we need green matter and brown matter. The green matter provides us with the nitrogen, and we gave you examples of that green matter. We gave you eggshells, coffee grounds, coffee filters, bread, just your garden waste, such as grass clippings, and we used a couple of the green tree leaves. It also needs brown matter, which provides you with the carbon. We gave you in examples the dried leaves and also the shredded newspaper. I also told you that when you combine those, add water, sunlight, and good air, you'll wind up with a very good compost. And I showed you 3 examples of our compost piles here. The first one you looked at was in the middle stages. It still had the grass clippings on top and the green matter on the bottom. And when you look toward the back, you saw things breaking down already into that crumbly soil. Then I showed you a brand new compost pile. It still had green leaves on top, the brown leaves on the bottom, but as we dug inside that compost pile, you could already see what's happening. We know that the fungi has already gotten inside, and it's doing its job, and the worms are busy eating up that soil and getting to that fungi. And as that fungi passes through its body, it leaves the waste. We also learned that as that compost pile cools down, that you wind up with all those other beneficial bugs, the sow bugs and the beetles. I also showed you the last compost pile, which is almost mature, not quite, but it's crumbly, it's dry, and it doesn't have any odor. We also learned that if you're composting properly, meaning turning the soil over every week, that's good aeration. That means there's air flowing through your compost, and you're not going to have any odor. We also saw the compost collection areas, which was the final product. And I already showed you exactly what you would do with the compost. You'd add it to your plants, you'd add it to your lawn, in order to make sure that your plants are healthy and they get the nutrients and minerals, which in turn, when we eat those plants, we wind up getting those nutrients and minerals. So that's it for our summary about what compost is, what it does, how it works.